If you don't pause at this inner threshold, you can end up in the waiting position again without even realizing it. Not because you're forcing anything, not because you're doing something wrong, but because the inner stance you're used to never actually shifted. And when that state doesn't change, the relationship dynamic in your life, especially the connection with the person who touches your heart, keeps forming from the same place. Similar expectations, similar gaps, similar emotional loops. Even if you consciously want something different, the energy you're carrying keeps recreating the same scene. The critical point here isn't blaming yourself or suppressing anything. It's being able to pause inside this awareness for a moment and not accepting continuing from the same place as an automatic destiny. Lately, you might not be checking your phone the way you used to. You're still texting. There's interest. The connection isn't gone. But when you feel you're no longer being met in the way you deserve, you don't send that text, even though part of you wants to. Not because you're playing games, but because something in you doesn't fully sit right anymore. And it's not just something you think. There are moments when you feel it clearly, in your chest, in your breathing, in the way you hold yourself. Yet deeper down, it can feel like one end of the bond with your specific person is still left open. Your day moves on. You go to work. You stay busy. You talk to friends, share things, live your life. And there are moments when you genuinely feel okay. Your mind calmer, your body more relaxed, your sense of self more grounded. Especially when you're around people, when you're talking, laughing, sharing space. That state becomes even more noticeable because social connection naturally lifts your energy and brings you back to your center. But in the background, somewhere inside, there's still an open tab. That quiet space related to them. The part that thinks, if something happened, I'd finally feel at ease. You go about your day as usual, and then, in an unexpected pause, if a small sign appeared carrying the feeling of, I remembered you. Not a big gesture, just something brief but intentional. Something that makes you feel remembered, not waiting. Something that subtly restores the sense of, I'm not alone in this. This is the subtle inner threshold most people carry without fully recognizing it. And we already know that waiting isn't about texting. It's not about chasing either. Everyone knows that by now. What's not easy is staying in the place where this is actually lived. Because waiting isn't really about stopping a behavior. It's about letting go of an energy you're still carrying inside. You can keep your hands off your phone. You can stop yourself from sending the text. But if something inside you is still on alert, if there's still a part of you quietly thinking, once something happens, I'll finally relax, then the waiting position hasn't truly closed. That's why this isn't just about what you do, but from where you do it, the inner state you're standing in, the energy you're holding while you stand there. This is also why waiting feels so hard to apply. Inside, the frequency hasn't shifted yet, but on the outside, you're trying to behave differently. That can work for a short while, but over time, it becomes exhausting. So what's needed here isn't forcing yourself to not wait. It's noticing the energy you're actually in and opening spaces that genuinely lift that frequency. And this isn't abstract. It's very real, very physical. Sometimes it's creating moments where your body can truly relax. Sometimes it's letting your mind step away from that specific person for a while and settle back into your own life again. Those moments when you're with people, talking, laughing, sharing space, and you feel something inside you quietly reassemble itself. Social connection has a healing quality because energy doesn't rise by circling endlessly inside you. It rises when it's shared. Any contact that brings you back into your body, back into life, back into the present moment, naturally lifts your frequency. And the more time you spend in those spaces, the waiting state begins to dissolve on its own. Because relationships have roles. They're rarely spoken, but they're always felt. Someone in the waiting role, even when they do nothing, still carries this signal. I'm here, waiting for your move. That signal creates pressure, often without the other person consciously realizing it. And wherever there's pressure, people instinctively pull back. They widen their space, not because they decide to, but because their system responds that way. Now there's a very important distinction here. This is about settling into a clear inner awareness, recognizing without negotiating with yourself that you're no longer the person in this scene who's waiting for something to happen, waiting for a move from the other side to define where you stand. The moment that realization truly lands, something heavy begins to loosen inside you. You feel it in your body, in your posture, in the way your energy rests. It's the sense that the waiting position has actually closed. And once that feeling stabilizes, the dynamic doesn't need effort to change. It shifts on its own. This is exactly why this video crossed your path. Not to teach you something new, but to help you clarify an inner decision point you hadn't fully named yet, and to calmly remind you of a place you already know, but may have drifted away from recently. Not by coincidence, because this kind of awareness only shows up when you're ready to see it. At this point, there's a very clear internal repositioning. If a text comes, my life continues exactly as it is. I don't place my day, my direction, or my emotional state in the hands of a message. That person isn't meaningless to me. They may hold an important place in my life. But I don't live in anyone's pocket. I continue forward with my own posture, my own rhythm. And if they truly want to step in, they do so when I feel it's earned, when there's space for them in both my inner world and my life. I'm here, but I'm not putting my life on pause while holding on to a single possibility. When this inner stance settles, something quietly releases on the other side as well. The pressure dissolves, and their energy field relaxes too, without them needing to understand why. But here's what actually matters. When your energy rises, it doesn't only affect them. Without forcing, without pushing, without calling anything in, a field begins to form that naturally draws them toward you. They may step into that field, or the pull may expand beyond just them. Because when your frequency rises, it doesn't attract only one person. It begins to gather into your life, the kind of relationship that feels right to you, people who meet you with presence and value, connections that carry real reciprocity, and movement in other areas of life where flow and abundance belong. What you did wasn't a complicated transformation. You simply changed position. The place you stand, the way you look at life, how you read a relationship, from which inner angle you understand the bond between you and them. You stopped looking from the waiting position and began seeing from the center of your own life, from a place that trusts its own energy. And when you change position, the view changes too. Because now you're no longer someone waiting for things to happen. You're inside a space where life moves toward you, where connection forms without effort. If during this conversation there was a moment that made you think, yes, this is it, pause here. You don't have to rush to move past this awareness just because the video ends. Taking a few seconds, doing nothing, simply noticing how this feels in your body can be a very meaningful gift to yourself. Let this awareness settle in its own rhythm. I'm glad you're here. And if this conversation helped something fall into place for you, one simple way to hold that clarity without dispersing it is to like the video and share just a few words about what became clearer for you. If you want to stay in this perspective together and continue exploring similar awareness with the same calm tone, our paths can keep crossing here. Without forcing anything, just allowing yourself to walk forward from the place you now see from. And over time, you may notice that this awareness continues working long after the video ends, quietly, in its own way.